Coach Sully, reps in Sweat Martial Arts and Fitness. This is Mat Chat. So why do people quit their fitness routine? And I'm not talking about the ones who barely get started. I'm talking about the ones who actually hit their fitness goals. Why do they quit? Why do they get bored? Today I'm going to go over why martial arts is the perfect anti-boredom fitness routine. Conventional methods of working out, even when you reach your goals, you end up feeling like you don't have anywhere else to go. You end up feeling like you've accomplished what it is that you set out to accomplish. You end up feeling like there's no other place to go. There's nowhere else you can go. But with martial arts, even starting out the gate, the level of commitment that is required guarantees that you stay with it for a long time. In order to develop proficient skills in martial arts, it takes years of commitment. It's not like, oh, I'm going to adjust my diet, get myself in a calorie deficit, lose 20 pounds. You can do that in months. But with martial arts, in order to be able to have functional skills, it's going to take you at least a year, if not years. There's always going to be room to improve. Conventional methods of working out gets to a certain point where you start asking yourself, why am I lifting this weight? Where am I going on this treadmill? Once you've achieved the things that you want to achieve, the weight that you were looking to lose, the muscle that you were looking to gain, there's really nowhere else to go. So you start to get bored. With martial arts, there's always another level to be achieved. Even looking at the amount of time, and we could take any martial arts that has a belt system, the amount of time that it takes you to get to black belt is years at least. I think the average black belt takes about 4 years to get to. And then when you're talking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that's a 10-year journey. So out the gate, just to get to a level of proficiency, you're looking at multiple years of commitment that's required. You're not going to get that kind of commitment requirement from just conventionally working out. And that's why people get bored. And I'm talking about people who achieved what it is they set out to achieve, people who lost the weight, people who got in the dress. Once that happens, once you get into the clothes that you were looking to fit in, where else are you gonna go? I know for me personally, right before I got into martial arts seriously and consistently, I was working out. I was working out for years, got into great shape, had a great physique, was in pretty good cardio condition. And it just got to the point where I got bored out of my mind. And I remember vividly And this was the longest time that I had gone since I started, there was the longest time I'd gone without working out since I started working out, and since that time. And this is right before I got into martial arts. I ended up slacking at the gym, not going to the gym. I wouldn't say at the gym because I was not at the gym. But I ended up not going to the gym for about 4 months straight. And luckily, right around that time is when I found martial arts and started training consistently. And I know for a fact that had I not found martial arts, I would have stopped working out. And I have so many friends that, gym buddies, that I used to go to the gym, we used to hit it real hard. And those folks did not find martial arts, did not take up martial arts, and they do not work out to this day. And these are people that were in excellent shape. So I really consider myself lucky that I found martial arts. Martial arts is the ultimate anti-boredom workout. There's always levels to be achieved. There's always improvements that can be made. And you just don't get that with conventional fitness and exercise. You just don't get it. I always tell folks that if you are looking for longevity with your fitness, you must attach it to something that means more to you than just being in shape. You must attach it to something that you enjoy doing. But not only do you get that from martial arts, yes, we enjoy learning how to punch and kick and wrestle and grapple and jujitsu and all of that stuff. Of course, we enjoy it. But not only do you get that, you have a goalpost that is continuously moving forward. There are whole genres of martial arts that you can explore. There are whole rabbit holes that you can go down with martial arts. The possibilities are endless. And you just don't get that with conventional working out. You just don't get it. And like I said, all of the people, all of my friends, because we were young, and this also happens as you get older and you start to have more responsibilities. It's going to be easier for life's responsibilities to pull you away from something that doesn't have meaning for you. It's going to be easier for those obligations to pull you away from something when you don't have important goals keeping you there. And I've seen it happen. Most of the people that I know, that when we were younger, we used to meet up at the gym and we used to work out consistently with each other. 90% of those people do not, 95% of those people do not work out anymore. And that's because they got bored. So, when you're talking about fitness, you cannot settle for the quick fix. And in the grand scheme of things, even if you can get a few years from conventional workout from a conventional workout, from the weightlifting, the treadmill, the cardio, what most people do in the gym. Even though you can get a few years out of it, compared to building a skill that can always be improved upon, it's a quick fix. Because after you are able to bench the 350, after you are able to fit in the jeans from high school, after even you run the marathon that you've always wanted to do, what is next? And with martial arts, the answer is very clear. What's next? There's always going to be an answer to that question. What's next? So folks, don't settle for the quick fix. Take my advice. Take my route. I have been consistently in fitness, in shape, ever since I started martial arts. I have not gone more than a week without working out. And if you want that sort of commitment and glue to your fitness, martial arts is your best option. All right, guys, gotta run. Coach Sully, Reps and Sweat Martial Arts and Fitness. This was Matt Chat.